listening to Full Circle Weekly News of the open source community presented by Full Circle Magazine. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 422, covering week 28, July 7th to 13th, 2025. The Wayland 1.24 protocol inter-process communication mechanism and libraries have been released. The 1.24 branch contains mainly bug fixes and minor protocol updates. The project's code is distributed under the MIT license. The Weston Reference Composite Server, which provides code and working examples for using Wayland in desktop environments and embedded solutions, is being developed as part of a separate development cycle. Samba 4.22.3 and 4.21.7 have been released as unscheduled updates to address an issue where Samba servers are no longer compatible with the next Windows Server update. If these patches are not installed, Samba servers will not be able to function as members of Windows Active Directory domains if the AD backend is enabled in the user ID mapping settings. Microsoft has scheduled updates for supported versions of Windows Server to be released on July 8th that will address security issues in the Active Directory domain controller implementation. The update will make changes to the Microsoft RPC NetLogon protocol in all supported versions of Windows Server to add additional access checks to some RPC calls. The extended checks were previously implemented in Windows Server 2025 but will be implemented in other versions starting July 8th. OBS Studio 31.1, a package for streaming, composing, and recording video, has been released. The code is written in C and C++ and is distributed under the GPL v2 license. Builds are available for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. Compositing support is provided with scene construction based on arbitrary video streams, data from web cameras, video capture cards, images, text, application window contents, or the entire screen. During broadcasting, switching between several predefined scene options is allowed. The program also provides tools for audio mixing, filtering using VST plugins, volume leveling, and noise suppression. The developers of the Ardor audio editor have removed support for building with the GTK2 library from the codebase, leaving only the ability to use YTK. YTK is a fork of GTK2 created by the Ardor project. The reason for stopping building with GTK2 is the additional functionality in YTK, providing support for touch input devices and the ability to render on the macOS platform. Initially, YTK was just a copy of GTK2 integrated into the Ardor repository to simplify maintenance. Changes to the codebase were limited to fixing bugs and cleaning up features not used in Ardor. In February, YTK began adding additional functionality not found in GTK2, and the build scripts in the experimental Ardor branch, which forms the basis for the Ardor 9.0 release, were switched to YTK by default. Now support for GTK2 has been removed. YTK only supports X11 and requires X-Wayland to run in Wayland-based environments. The Amarok 3.3.0 music player has been released. The project had been abandoned, but last year it was revived and ported to Qt5/Qt6 and KTE Frameworks 5 and 6 libraries. The project code is written in C++ and is distributed under the GPL v2 license. Amarok provides a 3-panel mode for displaying information, allows you to navigate through your music collection, tags, and individual directories, supports dynamic playlists and quick creation of your own playlists, can automatically generate recommendations, statistics, and ratings of popular tracks, supports downloading song lyrics, covers, and informational references about tracks from various services, and makes it possible to automate actions by writing script. The new version completes porting to Qt6 and KDE Framework 6, removed Qt5 support, updated database schema, and resolved encoding issues. It also implements the GStreamer-based audio backend, supporting additional features missing in Phonon-VLC backend available for Qt6, and improves code for scanning music collections. Matthew Kosarek has released the Miracle-WM 0.6 Compositing Manager, which uses the Wayland protocol and Mir Compositing Manager building components. Miracle-WM supports tiling window layout. Waybar can be used as a panel. The project code is written in C++ and is distributed on the GPL v3 license. Ready-made builds are available in the Snap format as well as in deb packages for Ubuntu. The goal of Miracle-WM is to create a composite server that uses tiled window management but is more functional and stylish than products like SwayFX. The project allows you to use classic techniques for working with floating windows, such as placing individual windows on top of a tiled grid or pinning windows to a specific place on the desktop. Virtual desktops are supported with the ability to set a default window mode for each desktop. The configuration is defined in YAML format. To install Miracle-WM, you can use the command sudo snap install Miracle-WM /classic. The Open Information Security Foundation has released the Suricata 8.0 Network Intrusion Detection and Prevention System, which provides tools for inspecting various types of traffic. Suricata configurations allow the use of the signature database developed by the SNORT project, as well as the Emerging Threats and Emerging Threats Pro rule sets. The project's source code is distributed under the GPL v2 license. The KDE Community Wiki has added alternative X.org implementations to the Unwanted Packages section. According to the note, only the official X.org server and X Wayland will be supported to provide a KDE session on X11. The note was added by Xavier Hugel, one of the key developers of the KWin compositing manager and the second largest committer since 2020. Before this, the X Libre project considered KDE a supported desktop environment. Apache HTTP Server 2.4.64 has been released, fixing 8 vulnerabilities and introducing 19 changes. Non-security improvements include added socket activation support to mod systemd. The mod_HTTP2 module has been updated with the H2 max header block len directive to limit the size of HTTP headers in a response. Mod_HTTP2 provides recording of information about the duration of HTTP/2 requests. The mod_MD module has been updated with the dprofile and mdprofile mandatory directives to support an extension of the ACME protocol that implements certificate profiles. The Alt Linux Virtualization 11.0 distribution has been released based on Alt Linux 11. The distribution is intended for use on servers and for implementing virtualization functions in corporate infrastructure. The builds are prepared for the x86-64 and AART64 platforms. The product is supplied under a license agreement which provides the opportunity for free use by individuals, but legal entities are only allowed to test it, and it is necessary to purchase a commercial license or conclude a license agreement in writing for usage. The distribution is now released in 2 editions, Virtualization-PVE and Virtualization-1, based on the Proxmox virtual environment and OpenNebula platforms. At the moment, only the PVE edition is available for download, which uses the tools supplied by the Proxmox VE distribution and is designed to manage virtual machines and containers using the KVM hypervisor and LXC tools. The Kubernetes, Docker, CRI-O, and Podman containerization tools have been transferred to the Alt Server distribution. The LabWC 0.9.0 project has been released. It develops a composite server for Wayland with capabilities reminiscent of the OpenBox window manager. Among the features of LabWC are mentioned minimalism, compact implementation, wide customization options, and high performance. Animated effects, gradients, and icons, with the exception of window buttons, are not supported in principle. The project code is written in C and is distributed on a GPL v2 license. In addition to the built-in root menu configurable via the menu.xml file, you can connect third-party implementations of the application menu, such as bmenu, Fuzzle, and Wofi. Waybar, SFW bar, Yambar, or Lava Launcher can be used as a panel. To manage the connection of monitors and change their parameters, you can use WLR-Randor or Kanshi. The screen is locked using SwayLock. The composite manager is used in the graphical environment of the Raspberry Pi OS distribution and is optionally supported in the XFCE and LXQT desktop environments. Nate Graham has published the latest KDE development report. For the upcoming KDE Plasma 6.5 release, we note the following. With the new feature to automatically change wallpapers between their light and dark versions, there's now more than one feature that makes use of the day/night cycle. Accordingly, the place where you configure your location so the system knows what sunrise and sunset timings to use has been moved out of the nightlight page and system settings and onto its own page. The cycle you set up here will be used for both nightlight and automatic wallpaper switching, and later for automatic theme or color scheme switching too, once those are finalized. During the discussion of the project of adding X Libre support to NixOS, the maintainers considered the proposals to supply alternative packages with the X server to be inappropriate. The reasons cited include possible changes to the X Libre ABI, the increased workload on the NixOS maintainers who would be forced to test 2 server variants, and difficulties in interacting with those responsible for X Libre, whose views make themselves known far more often than is necessary for conducting technical discussions. The low quality of the changes introduced in the fork was also mentioned. NixOS users are offered an alternative to use the overlay mechanism, which allows replacing the original X.org server with any other package, including X Libre. In this case, the user is responsible for eliminating any problems that may arise on their system. The status of X Libre support in other distributions can be found on the Are We X Libre Yet page, which is periodically updated by the authors of the fork. The code base on which the Mesa 25.2 release is based has removed support for the DRI-2, which has been replaced by the DRI-3 interface for direct access to the video adapter using DMA-buff. The reason given is that the DRI-3 interface has existed for over 10 years and all supported GPU drivers have implemented the DRI-3 interface. In Mesa 24.2, the use of DRI-2 was already hidden behind the legacy TIC X11 option, and for a year this has not caused any special questions. You can note that in the future, Mesa plans to get rid of support for other mechanisms that have become obsolete after the appearance of DMA-buff. In particular, they plan to support the EGL extension EGL_WL_bind_Wayland_display. To exchange pixel buffers between the Wayland client and server, they propose to use the Wayland protocol Linux_DMA-buff. Support for EGL_WL_bind_Wayland_display is planned to be disabled by default and activated only when specified using the legacy TIC Wayland build flag. Neth Server 8.5, a platform for deploying server applications infrastructure in isolated containers using a cluster of local or cloud servers, is available. Neth Server is positioned as a simple platform for organizing containers for SME system administrators who do not want to associate with complicated tools such as Kubernetes. Before the 8.x line, the project developed its own distribution for the rapid deployment of typical servers based on CentOS. Starting with the release of Neth Server 8, it is transformed into a universal platform installed on top of Rocky Linux 9, CentOS Stream 9, Alma Linux 9, and Debian 12. Applications and containers can be run on different hosts and managed through one centralized web interface. Installation and commissioning of selected server components is made in one click and does not require knowledge of the features of the configuration of each service. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.